Sally Winterburn. I'm a driving instructor trainer, and I help people to pass theory tests with my online courses. I'm going to go through the top 20 hardest theory test questions with you. I'm going to give you the question and the answer, the 4 possible answers that the DVSA provides you with. And I'm going to go through the hint that they provide you with, the hints and tips to help you answer questions. And I'm going to explain those hints to you as well before telling you what the correct answer is. A lot of people struggle with the theory test. There's a lot of test failures. If you can get to grips with these top 20 hardest questions, then you're well on your way to answering all questions correctly. Of course, if you want to be sure to have covered all the questions and to be sure that you're going to pass your test on your next attempt, then sign up for Theory Test Course. Go to www.theorytestpractice.online. So here are the top 20 hardest theory test questions. The first question, you're turning right onto a dual carriageway. What should you do before emerging? The 4 possible answers are stop, apply the parking brake and then select a low gear, position your vehicle well to the left of the road, check that the central reservation is wide enough for your vehicle, and make sure you leave enough room for the vehicle behind. So what do you think the answer to this question is? Let's have a look at the hint that the DVSA provides you with. They say before emerging right onto a dual carriageway, make sure the central reservation is deep enough to protect your vehicle. If it isn't, you should treat the dual carriageway as one road and check it's clear in both directions before pulling out. Neglecting to do this could place part or all of your vehicle in the path of approaching traffic and cause a collision. So before turning right, you need to make sure that the middle bit of the central reservation is big enough for your car. Because if it isn't, if it's too small, your car's going to stick out and cars coming from the right could clip you. So make sure it's big enough, and if it isn't, you need to wait where you are and then drive all the way across the road. So the answer to the question, you're turning right onto a dual carriageway, what should you do before emerging, is check that the central reservation is wide enough for your vehicle. How did you do with that question? The next question, in which of these situations should you avoid overtaking? So of course, overtaking is extremely dangerous. Where shouldn't you overtake? Where should you avoid overtaking? A, on a 30-mile-per-hour road. B, approaching a dip in the road. C, just after a bend. D, in a one-way street. Which one do you think the answer is? Let's have a look at the hint. The hint is, as you begin to think about overtaking, ask yourself if it's really necessary. If you can't see well ahead, stay back and wait for a safer place to pull out. So that means you need to look at the 4 answers they gave you and think, which of these would you not be able to see well ahead? Let's have a look at the answer. The answer to this question, where should you avoid overtaking, is approaching a dip in the road. So the road's going like this, then there's a dip and the road comes up again. And in that dip, you don't know what's there. You can see this part of the road and you can see this part of the road, but you don't know what's in the dip. So you shouldn't be overtaking if you can't see all of the road. Question 3. What does it mean if the signs at a bus lane show no times of operation? So when there's a bus lane, there'll be a sign saying this is a bus lane, but there's no extra sign telling you when it's only a bus lane. So there's no sign, no times of operation. So what does that mean if they're not telling you when it's only a bus lane? Does that mean the lane isn't in operation? The lane is only in operation at peak times? The lane is in operation 24 hours a day? Or the lane is only in operation in daylight hours? What do you think it means if there's no sign telling you when it's only a bus lane? Let's have a look at the hint. Bus lanes show the vehicles allowed to use the lane and its time of operation, because sometimes it's not only a bus lane, sometimes taxis or bicycles are allowed to use the lane as well. So they show the vehicles allowed to use the lane and the times of operation. Where no times are shown, the bus lane is in operation 24 hours a day. So the answer to the question, what does it mean if the signs at a bus lane show no time of operation? It means the lane is in operation 24 hours a day. It's in operation all of the time. Let's have a look at the next question. At a puffin crossing, which colour follows the green signal? Is it steady red, flashing amber, steady amber, or flashing green? Which follows the green signal? Well, I bet you can get rid of one of those answers straight away, can't you? Because it's not going to be flashing green. There isn't a flashing green. The sequence at a traffic light is red, red and amber, green, amber, red. That's the sequence at a normal traffic light. What is it at a puffin crossing? Let's have a look at what it says here. Puffin crossings have infrared sensors that detect when pedestrians are crossing, and they hold the red traffic signal until the crossing is clear. So puffin crossings have a sensor, they know when someone's crossing, and they give the pedestrian enough time to cross, but also they'll change to green if there's nobody on the crossing, they'll change sooner. So the use of a sensor means there's no flashing amber phase as there is with a pelican crossing. So pelican crossings have a flashing amber, which means you can keep on driving if there's nobody on the crossing. Puffin crossings have sensors that detect when pedestrians are crossing. So the answer to this question, let's move that out of the way, at a puffin crossing, which colour follows the green signal? It's steady amber. It's a good idea to write down the traffic light sequence so you can remember it, and also a really good idea to remember that a puffin crossing has a sensor and a pelican crossing has flashing amber. If you write those down, it will help you to remember those and answer those questions much easier. Okay, next question. You're waiting in a traffic queue at night, so it's dark. To avoid dazzling following drivers, you should. So you're not dazzling people, what should you do? Apply the handbrake only, apply the foot brake only, switch off your headlights, use both the handbrake and the foot brake. So have a think about this question. Which of those things might dazzle drivers behind you in the dark? Would it be a handbrake, a foot brake, your headlights? Let's have a look at the hint. You should consider drivers behind, as brake lights can dazzle. So when you press the brake pedal, the brake lights come on at the back of the car. And if people are sitting in the car behind you, those brake lights can dazzle them. The DVSA also say that, however, if you're driving in fog, it's safer to keep your foot on the foot brake so that people can see you. In this case, it will give the driver behind extra warning of your presence. So if you're in fog, it can be a good idea to keep your foot on the brake pedal. But if you're not in fog, then the brake pedal, the brake lights can dazzle people behind you. So the answer to the question, you're waiting in a traffic queue at night, to avoid dazzling following drivers, you should apply the handbrake only. Sometimes people call it the parking brake. So parking brake, handbrake only. Take your foot off the foot brake. That makes sense. Next question. How much more fuel will you use by driving at 70 miles per hour compared with driving at 50 miles per hour? 5%, about 15%, about 75%, or about 100%? Let's have a look at the hint. Your vehicle will use less fuel if you avoid heavy acceleration. The higher the engine revs, the more fuel you'll use. And using the same gear and covering the same distance as a vehicle travelling at 70 miles per hour would use 15% more fuel than it would at 50 miles per hour. However, don't drive so slowly that you inconvenience or endanger other road users. That will be irritating for them. So the answer to the question, how much more fuel will you use by driving at 70 miles per hour compared with driving at 50 miles per hour, is about 15%. So maybe think of something that's 15, think of somebody that's 15 years old, think of a way of remembering that 15%. Okay, next question. What will happen if your car's wheels are unbalanced? So when you get your wheels, your tyres fitted, they'll fit them and they will balance them as well. If they're not balanced correctly, how would you know what will happen? Will your steering pull to one side? Will your steering vibrate? The brakes will fail, the tyres will deflate. Let's have a look at the hint. If your wheels are out of balance, it will cause the steering to vibrate at a certain speed. This isn't a fault that will put itself right, so take your vehicle to a garage or tyre fitter to have the wheels rebalanced. So the answer to this question, what will happen if your car's wheels are unbalanced? The steering will vibrate, it will move like this. Okay, does that make sense? Let's move on to the next question. Which vehicles are least likely to be affected by side wind? Cyclists, motorcyclists, high-sided vehicles, or cars? It's really important when you're doing your theory test and when you're practicing your theory test questions to read the question twice. Read it twice and read it nice and slowly, so you're making sure that you read it correctly. This question is asking you which vehicles are least likely to be affected by side wind. You know, when you're driving and there's a gap in the hedges and the wind will come at you from the side, or you drive past a lorry and you suddenly feel the wind hitting the vehicle. Okay, that's a side wind. So which vehicles are least likely to be affected? Let's have a look at the hint. It says here, although cars are the least likely to be affected, side winds can take anyone by surprise. This is most likely to happen when overtaking a large vehicle, when passing gaps between hedges or buildings, or on exposed sections of road. That means bits of the road where there's no There's no buildings, there's no hedges that will stop the wind. So the wind's just going to hit your vehicle. This is a sign here for a side wind. So if you see a sign like this and you see it on an open section of road, keep your hands firmly on the steering wheel. Although if you're driving a car, you are the least likely to be affected, it can still affect you. So have a look at the answer to the question. Which vehicles are least likely to be affected by side winds? And I've said here the answer is cars. When may you overtake another vehicle on their left? When you're in a one-way street, when approaching a motorway slip road where you'll be turning off, when the vehicle in front is signalling to turn left, when a slower vehicle is travelling in the right-hand lane of a dual carriageway. Well, if you think about it and really read those questions, you can get rid of a few that it's just not right. So when you're approaching a motorway slip road where you'll be turning off, you can't overtake on the left. You can't overtake on the left on a motorway unless you're in traffic queues. And everyone's moving really, really slowly. When the vehicle in front is signalling to turn left, that doesn't mean that you can overtake them. So have a look at the hint. You may pass slower vehicles on the left while travelling along a one-way street. Be aware of drivers who may need to change lanes and they may not be expecting traffic passing on their left, but on a one-way street, you may pass slower vehicles on the left. So the answer to this question is when you're in a one-way street. How are you doing with these questions? Are you getting them right? Are you learning something? Remember, if you want to be able to answer all questions like these ones, and you want to see tutorials that help you really learn all about these questions. The next question is about reflective studs. Do you want to learn an easy way of knowing where the reflective studs are so you can answer all reflective studs questions easily? Then sign up for theory test course. You can email me, you can message me in this group, or you can go straight onto theorytestpractice.online and sign up for theory test course that will help you. So the next question we've got here is, what colour are the reflective studs between a motorway and slip road? Are they amber, white, green or red? Do you know where the reflective studs are? Now the hint says the studs between the carriageway and the hard shoulder are normally red. These change to green, see the left edge of the road, the red, and they change to green when there's a slip road. And that helps you to know where the slip road is when visibility is poor, so maybe in the fog, or when it's dark. That's what the studs are there for. When visibility isn't very good, the studs in the motorway or the dual carriageway will help you to know what lane you're in. So the answer to this question, oh, where's that gone to? The answer to this question, what colour are the reflective studs between a motorway and a slip road? The answer is green. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. What helps to reduce traffic bunching on a motorway? So traffic bunching is everybody getting a bit too close to each other. Is it A, variable speed limits, B, contraflow systems, C, national speed limits, or D, lane closures? Which one of those four answers would you get rid of? I'd get rid of lane closures, because closing a lane and making less space isn't going to reduce traffic bunching, is it? Let's have a look at the clue, the hint. Congestion can be reduced by keeping traffic at a constant speed. At busy times, maximum speed limits are displayed on overhead gantries. Overhead gantries are the signs that are high up on a motorway. They're high up and they're really big so everybody can read them easily. So these signs can be varied quickly, so they can change the speed limit on them quickly depending on the amount of traffic on the motorway. So by keeping to a constant speed on a busy section of motorway, overall journey times are normally improved. So what they'll do on a motorway is slow everybody down to 50, everybody's travelling at a regular, slower speed, and it stops everybody from bunching up. So the answer, what helps to reduce traffic bunching on a motorway is variable speed limits. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. You're on a motorway. What must you do if there's a red cross showing above every lane? What do you think you would want to do if there's a red cross showing above your lane and all the other lanes? Would you want to pull onto the hard shoulder, slow down and watch for further signals, leave at the next exit, or stop and wait? Which one of those do you think is the correct and safest option? So the hint is a red cross above every lane means you must stop and wait. Don't change lanes and don't try to continue any further along the motorway. That would be dangerous. So the answer to the question, you're on a motorway, what must you do if there's a red cross showing above every lane, is stop and wait. You're looking for somewhere to park at night. When may you park on the right-hand side of the road? Is it when you're in a one-way street? Is it when you have your side lights on? When you're more than 10 meters from a junction, or when you're under a lamp post? So the hint says rear red reflectors show up when headlights shine on them. These are useful when you're parked at night, but they'll only reflect if you park in the same direction as the traffic flow. Normally you should park on the left, but in a one-way street you may also park on the right-hand side of the road. So look at the red reflector in this picture here. They are only on the back of a car. So they will only shine up when another car's lights shine on them. So if you're on the other side of the road, on a two-way street, the car lights wouldn't shine on them. But on a one-way street, cars are travelling in the right-hand lane as well as the left-hand lane. Makes sense? So, if you're looking for somewhere to park at night, when may you park on the right-hand side of the road? It's when you're on a one-way street. Okay, next question's about trailers. A trailer must stay securely hitched up to a towing vehicle. So a trailer or a caravan must be firmly secured to the car or van, whatever towing vehicle is. So what additional safety device can be fitted to the trailer braking system? Would that be a stabilizer, a jockey wheel, corner steadies, or a breakaway cable? Do you know the answer to this question? Let's have a look at the hint that you're provided with. The DVSA say, in the event of a tow bar failure, the cable activates the trailer brakes and then snaps. This allows the towing vehicle to get free of the trailer and out of danger. So here I've got a white arrow in the picture here. There's a white arrow pointing at a breakaway cable. This cable is attached to the trailer or the caravan, and it's attached to the tow bar. And if the caravan and the car become separate, the cable snaps and puts on the caravan brakes, so the caravan won't keep rolling down the hill. Does that make sense? So The answer, a trailer must stay securely hitched up to a towing vehicle. What additional safety device can be fitted to the trailer braking system? It's a breakaway cable. A cable that if the car and the caravan separate from each other by mistake, the breakaway cable will snap. It will apply the brakes to the caravan, and the caravan won't keep on rolling away. What does this sign mean? Have you got any idea what this sign means? So it's a red circle. It's got a blue background to make it stand out. So it's an important red circle. They're all important, but this blue one, it's got blue background to make it really stand out. And it's got two red lines. So two red lines put over in a cross, so you can see them clearly. Does this sign mean national speed limit applies, waiting restrictions apply, no stopping or no entry? Which one of those do you think it means? Really important sign. It's in red. A red circle is an order. It's telling you an order. It's telling you what you must not do because it's in red. The circle is in red and it's got two red lines. So this is a sign for a clearway. Clearways are stretches of road where you aren't allowed to stop unless it's an emergency. Stopping where these restrictions apply may be dangerous and is likely to cause an obstruction. So the answer to this question, what does this sign mean? It means no stopping. So what does this sign mean? Does it mean end of restricted speed area, end of restricted parking area, end of clearway, end of cycle route? So it's telling you it's the end of something. What is it telling you it's the end of? So the hint says, even though you've left the restricted area, make sure that you park where you won't endanger other road users or cause an obstruction. So that's the hint that the DVSA give you. Even though you've left the restricted area, because the zone has ended, make sure you park where you won't endanger other road users or cause an obstruction. So the answer to this question, what does this sign mean, is end of restricted parking area. Sometimes people get mixed up with this sign because when it's a zone ends, the image is in black and white. So don't get mixed up with that, okay? If it's a zone ends, it's in black and white, but it means the same as if it was a red circle with a blue background. What is statutory off-road notification? Do you know what that means? I mean, read it really carefully. Statutory off-road notification. Is it a notification to tell the DVLA that a vehicle isn't being used on the road? Is it a notification to tell the DVSA that a vehicle doesn't have a current MOT? Is it information kept by the police about the owner of the vehicle, or information held by insurance companies to check a vehicle is insured? Well, it's statutory off-road notification. So it's a notification, isn't it? So you can get rid of C and D already. Let's have a look at the hint. If you want to keep a vehicle untaxed and off the public road, you must make a SORN. It's an offence not to do so. Your SORN is valid until your vehicle is taxed, sold, or scrapped. So the answer to the question, what is statutory off-road notification? It's a notification to tell DVLA that a vehicle isn't being used on the road. Did you get that question right? Did you understand it from the DVSA's hint that they gave you? If not, then I'll go through it in more detail and make it really, really simple for you to understand in my theory test course. So why not sign up for that? So look at the next question. What's covered by third-party insurance? Is it damage to your vehicle, fire damage to your vehicle, flood damage to your vehicle, or damage to other vehicles? What's covered by third-party insurance? So the hint is third-party insurance doesn't cover damage to your own vehicle or injury to yourself. So third party doesn't cover you at all. If you have a crash and your vehicle is damaged, you might have to carry out the repairs at your own expense. So the answer, what's covered by third party insurance, is damage to other vehicles. Next question. At an incident, how could you help a casualty who has stopped breathing? Keep their head tilted forwards as far as possible. Follow the Dr. ABC code. Raise their legs to help with circulation, or give them something to drink. Again, think about this question, because some of these things are not going to help somebody who has stopped breathing. Let's have a look and see what the hint for this question is. The hint is the Dr. ABC code has been devised by medical experts to give the best outcome until the emergency services arrive and take care of casualties. So the Dr. ABC code, it stands for D is for danger, R is for response, A is for airway, B is for breathing, and C is for circulation. And that is the code that you need to be thinking of if you come across an accident, an incident. First thing you want to think about is danger, because there's no point in helping somebody if you are going to be in danger, or if the person who is injured is going to be in more danger from other traffic getting too close to them or running over them. So the first thing you look at is danger. So at an incident, how could you help a casualty who has stopped breathing? And the answer to this question is follow the Dr. ABC code. And last question, what does this sign mean? It's similar to a sign we saw a couple of questions ago, isn't it? A red circle with a blue background, but this one has only got one line going across. The other sign had two lines. So it's obviously a very similar sign. Does it mean waiting restrictions apply, waiting permitted, national speed limit applies, or clear way, no stopping? So the hint for this question is there will be a plate or additional sign to tell you when the restrictions apply. So the answer to this question, what does this sign mean, is waiting restrictions apply. So two lines mean no stopping. One line means sometimes you can stop, sometimes you can't. So it's restrictions, waiting restrictions apply. So there you go. That was the top 20 hardest theory test questions. If you can understand those questions, however they are written, however they are presented to you, then you're well on the way to preparing to pass your theory test the first or the next time you take it. But if you want to make sure, then sign up for theory test practice. Go to theorytestpractice.online, sign up for my course, and you'll be well on your way to passing your theory test. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again soon. Bye.